Why would you want to increase your growth index? Because you can. Because you can. The video that brought you in here, I talked about three scientists. The first one was Kelly McGonigal. Now, she said that multiple studies have shown that when you lock in a high growth index, it predicts academic and physical success. So that's exactly, if that's what you want, I mean, you can have it. At 46, I didn't have it. And I had no clue that I had three, well, actually four roadblocks, but three main roadblocks that absolutely crush your ability, your body's ability to make performance hormones and increase and lock in. Now, you're not too old. I was 46. I was on HRT. I'm off all of that now. You don't need elite genetics. Mine are absolute shit. I've had my genome sequenced, and by default, the brain has a negative bias at a rough ratio of 3 to 1. Okay, so we're 3 times more likely to engage in negative thoughts, increasing stress hormones and lowering our growth index. How do you know? How do you feel? Are you worried about what other people think? Are you second guessing your work? Are you hesitating? Are you bored? Do you have low energy? You've got a problem. You need to solve this. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today to increase your growth index. Now, Sean Aker, he also mentioned that by default, when you lock in a high growth index and have it there consistently, you're 31% smarter by default. So you get more done, you're more focused, and when your feet hit the floor in the morning, you take the day on. Now, a lot of people, like I used to, believe that it's about lowering stress. Hell no. If you want to feel apathy, you want to be bored frequently and not have energy, to feel like you can take the day on, sure, lower stress. We need to optimize it and increase and lock in our growth index. So what's the end result of how you feel when you've got a high growth index? Well, the easiest way to explain it is you've got big enthusiastic energy for the day. When your feet hit the floor, you feel like you can take the day on. I call that one thing zest physiology. So you've got all the 8 sexy systems coursing through your veins. I'll talk about them in a moment, but you've got zest. And there's three things that we need to master to be able to continually produce that zest physiology. We need to be able to master stress. And because we're going to be working at least 31% smarter. So we'll be working smarter. And when we get down to this point, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When I talk about that, we can enhance that effect by giving the brain trophic support. Now, scientists like Professor Waltman from MIT has shown us how we can increase our brains, our IQ and our brain size. And these scientists have also said that our brain has evolved to increase in size and IQ as we age. And that goes without saying that you need a high growth index. And the third thing we need to master, what do you think that is? Well, to give you a clue, Professor Sapolsky from Stanford has said that our perception of a situation can increase stress hormones twofold. And when that happens, boom, our growth index goes to shit. So we have to be able to master emotion. Now, it's not just our own emotion. No. We have to have the ability to master other people's emotion, take them down roads, vector them. I'll talk about that when we get to this point here, towards the end of this video. But I come to the realization when Chris Voss, former FBI negotiator, he says that every situation that you find yourself in is a negotiation. You will find yourself negotiating 3, maybe even up to 10 times a day with your partner, with your kids, professionally, even at Starbucks. Every situation that you're in, you'll find yourself in a negotiation. And for most people, that lowers their growth index because they don't know how to negotiate. Now, I'm going to show you a very simple system that Chris Voss taught me to use so we can master. So we're heads above everybody else when it comes to negotiation. And when you know how to do this, it gives you confidence, and it's like it's a game. So when that changes for you, these hard conversations that we have to have become something that you enjoy, and that increases your growth index. So when you get the whole lot of this right, we master stress, we start working smarter, and we master emotions, not just our own, but how to successfully negotiate. And I call that the negotiator's effect. That's a pretty powerful thing. I'm going to show you it all today. So when we do all those three things, that unlocks us. Can I even spell? Unlocks us. It unlocks the body and the mind. So when we get to this stage, you'll see that it's very easy to walk around lean and healthy all year round. And there's three other things that play into that. And when we get to that stage of the training, you'll see why. Like it's your right to walk around leaner, smarter, and feeling sexy as, pardon my French, and it doesn't matter how old you are or how crappy you think your genetics are. So the very first thing we're going to do is work on these three things right here, which are, so I'll walk you through the whole nine stages right now. The geyser. Okay, so how to increase the growth index, and then we'll show you the roadblocks. So you've got what I call clamps. They clamp your ability to produce performance hormones. And then you've also got thieves. So things like microplastics, which are estrogen mimics. Now, what thieves do, and they're everywhere, okay? They're in your personal care products. They're in our food supply. They're absolutely everywhere. And when you know them, you can eliminate these thieves. What these thieves do, estrogen mimics namely, when they enter the body, they raise a hormone called sex hormone binding globulin. And when this goes up, what it does is detrimental to your confidence and your optimistic outlook in life. It binds to free testosterone and inactivates it. What a terrible waste. And this is coming into the system right now. And I'll show you some examples of what they are. And then when we get over to this stage here, we need to keep the system running 24/7. And a lot of people, most people on the planet don't have their metabolism working 24/7. They've got roadblocks and this and that, and something stopping them from producing performance hormones and keeping their growth index locked in high and optimizing for stress. Okay, and when we get to this stage here, I'm going to show you how it's easy to stay lean as fuck all year round. Now, I'll just write that down. Lean as, you know what, all year round. My genetics, I've had my genome sequenced, and it turns out that I've got a 2.76-fold increase in the risk of obesity. But clearly, I'm not fat. And if you struggle with that, I'm nearly 49. I'm going to show you it's very simple and easy to walk around lean all year round. And the next thing that we work on is upgrading our cellular intelligence. Now, upgrade. Go back over here. And what I mean by that is every single day, every single meal that you eat, go into your body building materials. You're replacing and making up to 60 billion cells a day. And if you put shit into the system, these cells will be highly inflammatory. But very quickly you can reverse that. So if you know what superior building materials are to put into the system, you're at a massive advantage. You become superhuman. When we get to that stage, I'll show you what they are and how to do it. And over here, genes. If you've got, scientists say that we've got these things called SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms. Some are slow, so they work very slowly. So for me, I've got some genes that work very slowly, and you'll have normal ones and you'll have fast ones. Now, an interesting thing that I'll bring up now, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, PhD, I was listening to an interview that she did a while back now, but she said that the people you see that are 90 or 100 and they just seem to have, lived a crap lifestyle, they smoked and they drank, they've got detox genes that work very fast and they've got double copies of them. So they've won the genetic lottery. Now, again, I've mentioned that I've had my genome sequenced and mine are shit. I have to do everything possible to help my body detox. Otherwise, my energy tanks, my mood goes to shit. You get the idea. So when we get to this point here, I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom to show you how to optimize for your unique genetics. And I think we'll leave this for last. We'll get to this eventually, all right? So as you can see, this training is quite comprehensive. And if you want to lock in your growth index for a stress response, this is for you. You don't need elite genetics, because mine is shit. It doesn't matter how old you are. And you might even think that it's a character flaw. It's not. You see, Professor Sapolsky has said, this is when, I really got it when I was 46 years old. He said that when stress hormones are higher than healthy, or inflammation for that matter, it engages stress-based thoughts. And remember when I spoke about Professor Sapolsky in the beginning of this, he said that our thoughts can raise cortisol twofold. So when we're engaging in these negative thoughts, cortisol is going up and our growth index is coming down. We have a 3-to-1 ratio. We're 3 times more likely to engage in negative thoughts. And when we continually do this, that engages stress-based behaviors. And these stress-based behaviors are what we think are character flaws. They're not. Your physiology is set up to do this. So if this sounds like you want to learn how to increase your growth index, the next step is on this page. And if you're serious about life, and if you've got kids, you want them to look up to you. If your wife, if you want her to believe that you're a go-getter and you've got this vigor, strength and vitality for life, this is how you do it. You've got to lock in your growth index. This is the very foundation to any success that you want in life, academic or physical success, and success in the damn bedroom, right? Performance hormones locked in. So read the information on this page and take the next step. Locking your geyser, let me show you how that's done.